Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I promise it's going to be better than last Sunday, okay? I got me some throat spray, so I'm not going to be hacking and mutilating my message. But it's going to be a very meaningful message because this one's been laying on my heart for a while. I've been really wanting to preach it, but I'm going to have to do some explaining, though. But we're reading out of Daniel chapter 3 this morning. And I apologize because it's going to involve some people in my life. And I don't want this message, by no means, that's the reason I've been holding off on it, because I don't want this message to think I'm talking trash about them or belittling them, because they've moved on. They're not on this earth anymore. But they've left some people behind. And I just want to show who I am. Being behind this pulpit, I want you to know who Shawn is. And I don't say refer to myself in the third person. I'm just saying I want y'all to know who I am and what made me to be where I'm at today.
Yes.
But we all have testimony. And like I say, I've been holding off on this one because it just felt to me like I was bashing people. And I don't want to bash nobody. That's not my job. My job is not to talk trash about anybody. But these people played a role in who I became in life. You know, we all go down these roads, hit crossroads to find out who we are. And people play a role in that. God puts people in our life for a reason.
Amen.
And
Yes.
to either, to test us or to build us up or however, he puts some people in our lives. And the story I found close to it is in Daniel chapter 3. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's a little bit to read. But King Nebuchadnezzar in 3:1 made an image of gold 90 feet high and 90 feet wide and set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Bethel. Province. Okay, thank you. And he set the statue up because he wanted to know that he was going to be there for, they built images back then because they wanted to be there forever. They wanted people to think that their name lived way beyond their mortality on earth. And he had the statue built, and they were supposed to, when the trumpets were blown and stuff, everybody was supposed to kneel and praise to it. And these three guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all of them didn't. They didn't take a knee. Because it says, God says, we should not worship false idols. We should not worship anything but God. And so if we take a knee to a false idol, we're showing that we're worshiping that. And that's not what their faith told them to do. And so Nebuchadnezzar was pretty upset about this because they disrespected me. So he had them cast them into a fire, blazing furnace. And had it turned up higher, 10 times higher than it had ever been, to burn these men up. And it didn't. It didn't. He looked in there and he saw, what did he see? He saw a fourth person in there. A fourth person. Who do you think that fourth person was? You think that was the devil? No, it was God. God came because he was showing to his children, if you worship me, the God of all gods, not some small God, not like in Greek mythology where they have all these other ones built up to Zeus. No, this is the God of gods, only one God. One God that we have to worship. We don't have to worry about all these sun gods and rain gods and health gods and all these other gods. We just have to worry about one God. And this God is inside this blazing furnace with these three men that put their lives on the line to show the love that they had for their God. Not many people will do that nowadays. Most people just say, you know what, I just take a knee. Take a knee. What big deal is it going to be if I kneel to this false God? God knows he's in my heart. Yeah, but that's not showing what God wants. God says, you show me respect. You show me the love and the honor. You don't worship another God.
Yes, sir.
And so I had to say this message right here to show these guys, because I'm not trying to take away from this message either. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. Like I say, I'm trying to combine the two together, my life and this story, because the thing about stories accounts, they're not stories. Because like I said last week, nowadays people hear story and they think fairy tale. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a fairy tale. This is an account. This is an account of history, of three men putting their lives on the line for God. And in the midst of the fire, God was there with them. Now, the reason I say this is because I'm trying to weave the two together. Because, and like I say, I'm not bashing these people. Please do not get me wrong. I love them. But this is how I became who I am. Growing up, when I was a year old, my dad left me. He walked out the door. And I like to say, I'm not asking sympathy from nobody. Please do not give me sympathy. I do not ask for your sympathy. And I say this is a story I'm just trying to tell, an account, not a story, an account in my life, who I am. My dad left me when I was a year old. So I just had 4 brothers and my mom. And my dad didn't return until I was 11 years old. Never, not one Christmas card, not a birthday card, not I'm still alive card, anything like that, nothing. Until I was 11, and he popped in my life. But meanwhile, several years, I can't remember, 8 or 9 years old, my mom met my stepdad. And like I say, I know if you believe in God, you have to believe in demons too. And demons get into people. And I'm not saying this is some exorcist stuff or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, because people grab a hold of demons and they let them control their lives. And they let the anger, because demons don't want you to be happy. They want you to be mad. They want you to take away from others to make them feel as bad as you do. And so I'm saying both my mom, my stepdad, and my dad, all of them had their things. They had their things in life they had to deal with. But my stepdad, I don't know, he just didn't like me. I don't know. I was a little kid, and all he used to do was bash me about my dad. You know, because he worked, he paid the bills and stuff, and my mom worked all the time. He was there at the house more than my mom was, apparently. And so there was times he was always, what's your dad doing? He'd always bash my dad, where's your dad at? Where's your dad at? I didn't have a clue where my dad, I didn't know what my dad looked like. But I remember one Friday, every Friday, my mom worked late Fridays, and he'd always order pizza from Pizza Hut, That was back when they had the technology of the astronaut suits that they would wrap the pizzas in to keep them extra warm. I just remember these commercials. And anyway, they brought this pizza to the house. And I was hungry. My mom didn't keep no food in the house. She just brought meals home every time because she said we eat up all the groceries. So she just brought home the meals. And I remember I was hungry. I was smelling that pizza. Boy, it smelled good. And I was sitting there looking. Like I said, I was a little kid, 9 years old. And my stepdad said, he said, you want a piece of that pizza? I said, I sure do. And he said, why don't you pick out that piece your dad bought? I'm like, okay, apparently my dad didn't buy any of it, so I'm not getting no pizza. So I didn't get no pizza. So I got to sit there and watch him eat it, And like I say, that was just one account. Like I said, don't think nothing bad of this man. I've forgiven this man, but it's a demon that was helping him say these things. And so don't think nothing bad about him or anything. I'm trying to bash him, because I'm not. I'm not, by no means. Please don't get me wrong. And then, growing up, you always have this person in your life that should be there. When you have plays, I was always involved in plays and stuff at the church and in school. And I always looked out there was always an empty seat. My mom didn't come to them, In my 7th and 8th grade year, I had my dad in my life too. My dad was there. My mom was there. In every home game, a football game, I played football for 2 years in Vernon, 7th and 8th grade. And every time we had a home game, they'd give us 2 tickets to our parents. I'd come home and I'd give them to my mom. My stepdad, my mom's like, no, Friday, it was Thursday, we played on Thursdays. And my mom said, well, I'm not going to go watch you because I don't want to see you get hurt. That was her excuse. And so when I was playing football, I do something good. What does a kid do when he does something good? He looks up in the stands to see the approval of his parent. Guess who I saw in the stand? An empty seat. Saw an empty seat. Every time I looked up there, I saw an empty seat. We play away games. I wouldn't get home till nighttime. Sometimes it was raining. They dropped us off at the school. All my friends are getting taken home by their parents, and I have to walk home in the rain. And like I say, this I'm not trying to bash nobody. This is just who I am, and it's what I grew up being. And so, growing up, it wasn't easy for me. I'm not saying I had it hard, because there's people that had it way harder than I did. Way harder. And I endured verbal, physical abuse, and grew up to be the man that I became to be. And in this process, I had my own demons. I love to fight. I love to hit somebody, to beat them up, to make them feel just as miserable as I felt inside. That's what I wanted. I want to take away from anybody I seen that was doing good in their life. I wanted to take away from that because I didn't want them feeling good. Why? Because I didn't feel good about myself. I felt empty. I tried to drink, smoke weed, and everything else to fill that void inside my life, and I had no way to find it. No way. You know why? Where was I at? I was lost. I say it's, I'm going to get emotional. But that was where I was at. I tried raising my kids. I told my kids I was always going to be there for them. I was never going to leave my kids because that was one thing that I promised myself was I was going to be the dad for my kids no matter what. So I worked, put a roof over their head, and played with them and everything else like I wanted to be when I was a kid. I gave them what I didn't have growing up. And it felt good. But it still didn't complete me. I was still empty inside. And, I went through 2 divorces. And I had to fight tooth and nail for my kids. I had to go to court, no telling how many times. I had to represent myself at times in court because I couldn't afford a lawyer. I didn't do very good in court, I can tell you that. They say, what is it? A fool is the one that represents himself, or a fool is a client. That is it. A fool is a client, and that was me. But I didn't have the money. But I worked and tried to put food on the table and roof over my kids' head and be there for them. Because I wanted to be the dad that I didn't have. And and then in 2000, March of 2000, I had a little baby girl. She was born in November. She was born in November 99. And in March, God called her home. And you talk about a loss. Because this is something here that I didn't know. Because I had this emptiness inside of me. I tried to put, thank you, Mary. I tried to put I didn't have faith. I've been going to church all these years, but I didn't know what God was. I just knew God was somebody that judged me. It was going to put me in hell. That's all I knew. So, when he called my daughter home, I was really hurt, really lost. Because I didn't know. All I had in my life was emptiness. I had like looking in the stands after making a good play. Look up in the stands and seeing what? An empty seat. That's what I had, empty seats. And then I met a man named John Spangler. He came into my life. He didn't know me from Adam, but he came into my life. And I started going to his church, started visiting with him, started counseling with him. And he introduced me to somebody that I've been running away from all these years. You know who that was? The same guy with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in that furnace. I found God. And you know what? Looking back as a child, looking back on my memories, looking back, I looked at that empty seat. It was not empty anymore. There was Jesus sitting in that seat, looking at me, helping me be the man that I'm trying to become, filling me with the love that I needed, filling me with the love that all these people in my life abandoned me did. Right? He filled that void. And so I took my love for my children, for whatever I had, and realized that he is the best bank in the world, because when you invest in him, he invests in you. But he's invested in you before you were invested. Before I ever knew him, he was there. Always there. Even though I was astray and running away from him, and he, hurting his people, beating his people up and stuff, treating them bad, he was there in my life, loving on me. And all I needed to do was turn around and grasp him with both hands. And when I found him, it filled that void that I could not find with money, with friendship, with love from another person on this earth. Because you know what people on this earth are good for? The best thing that we are, because you know as well as I do, this is going to sound harsh. It's going to sound real harsh. But I guarantee you, people on this earth will hurt you. One way or another, they will betray you. No matter how much you love them, no matter how much you invest in them, eventually they're going to hurt you. Your children, loved ones, people that say, I will never leave you. You're there for me. And they will turn their back on you in your time of need. But you know who won't? God. Same God, God, that was in there with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Same God in that furnace. Because he followed them into a blazing furnace. A blazing. Tell me there's some place in this earth that you can go to that God will not follow you. If he's going to follow these guys into a blazing furnace, where will he not follow you to? You know, and this, what's so sad is I love God so much that I can't wait to come to church.
Amen.
I can't wait for Sunday night and Wednesday night to come to church, to be with my family, to love y'all, and to share the love that God's bestowed upon my heart. And you can see by these empty pews out here where everybody else's love's at. I'm not saying you have to come to church to love God, but I'm saying if you feel like I do, it might just be me. I don't know, and y'all here. But I know that when them church doors are open, guess who's going to be in here? Me. Guess who's going to be here tonight listening to Tommy preach? Me. I'm not going to be sitting at home entertaining myself or using some kind of excuse that, I'm tired, I'm sick. Well, you know what? You can be sick in that back pew over there all by yourself and not spread it to anybody. You can wear a mask in here if you want to. But lay in bed and say that I'm not going to be there for some guy that will follow you into a furnace. He followed me to my football games when I was little before I knew him. How many people's going to follow you before they know you? But he does. He will. He loves you unconditionally. And once you love him, you'll find out that when my daughter passed away, she's with him. What other place would you want your loved one to be? You think I want her here on this earth where people judge her because of her weight, because of her eye color, because of her hair? Because that's what we do. We judge people. And she don't have to do that anymore. She don't have to live through any of that. She's with him in embracing the love that she will never feel on this earth. Never feel on this earth. Why would I want her back? That's the reason when loved ones pass away, I know it hurts on this earth. But you got to realize that there was somebody embracing them harder than you could ever embrace them, and loving them unconditionally, and will follow them to a furnace, to a play, to a football game, to wherever you go in life. He's there with you, loving you unconditionally. Thank y'all, and I love y'all, and I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Yes. Yes.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they would not worship the idol of Nebuchadnezzar set for them. How many of y'all here today do not have idols that you're worshiping? How many people here that are not here today? Are they home worshiping something that they should not be worshiping? If you're here today and you need some encouragement, this is the time to get it. This is the time to come. If you're here today, come. If you're here today, you need to come. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for these that's here, Lord. We said, no, Lord, where there's three or more gathered together in your name, you'll be there also. We pray, Lord, that you'll go with us and you go to our homes, Lord, watching words and all of